Hey, what's up YouTube? Really excited to bring you this video on how I made $75,000 sports betting in July. I know it sounds crazy, a little too good to be true, but we're gonna get into everything in this video. Now, a couple things I wanna mention before diving into the specifics is the point of this video is not just to brag about, oh guys, look how great I am, look how much money I made. Not at all. The point is, hopefully, me sharing my strategies, the betting process that I use, what books I'm finding success on, how I'm getting edges over the sports books is helpful to you, right? I hope that this video makes you a better sports bettor, a more profitable sports bettor. The second thing I want to mention is this is a lot of hard work, right? I don't mean to make this sound easy like a get-rich-quick scheme. I obviously had a very good month, a lot of luck involved, and not every month is going to be like this, and I put hours into my sports betting. However, this is completely true. Every single one of these plays, I gave out 100% free on Twitter, on YouTube live stream, so you can go back in time. It's all public on my Twitter or on this YouTube channel in the live streams. You will see every single play that we go through in this video. I give out all my plays for free on YouTube or Twitter. Now, the next thing I want to mention is if you enjoy this type of content on sharp sports betting, profitable sports betting, strategies to beat the sports books, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know, that's the only way that I know I'm doing more than just hearing myself talk. And again, I guess I'll add a number 5. Really invest in your sports betting education. I mean, I've said this before, but I started out in college playing poker. I didn't show up to the poker table my first time with $5,000 and start degenerately betting. I spent years, maybe not years, but until I was betting seriously, definitely years, learning about poker strategy. When should you call? When should you raise? How much should you raise in certain scenarios? A lot of time getting into the math behind gambling. I used to be a trader on Wall Street, really have an understanding of markets that I learned. And I spent a ton of time thinking about sports betting, looking into what do the sharps do, the pros do, how are they actually making money? Because sports betting is not, oh, the Lakers are gonna win. Right? That's not sports betting. There's a difference between liking sports and following sports and having the ability to make money sports betting month after month. They're very different. So I hope this video gets you excited about the possibility of making money sports betting and things maybe you can look into and learn if you want to be profitable. So the first thing I thought people would want to know is what sportsbook did you make the most money on? So it was actually a fantasy platform called Betr. That's Jake Paul's app where I made over $60,000 profit. That drove the bulk of the winnings. However, one thing I want to make really clear is a lot of people say, oh man, Betr isn't legal in my state, so I can't make money sports betting. And that's completely not true, right? All these books are legal in different locations, but what's really important is understanding the strategies, understanding the process for making money. There are tons of sports books in Canada, and I know a ton of sharp bettors in Canada who make a ton of money beating the books, and I don't even have access to these books. I can't even visit the site because it blocks US users, right? They're Canadian sports books. What's really important is understanding the strategies for beating the books. And also, sportsbooks come and go. So if you look at last year in 2023, I don't even know if Betr was legal or available yet. So in 2023, most of my profit came from WinBet, Caesars, and Underdog Fantasy. So WinBet in most states went out of business. So that book is no longer available. So these books come and go, edges kind of come and go. Same thing with Underdog Fantasy. It was super profitable for me last year in 2023. Unfortunately, they reduced my bet size to a max of $100. So on Underdog Fantasy now, I can only bet $100. Whereas before I could bet like $2,000, so I'm gonna make less money going forward on Underdog Fantasy. So as a sports bettor, limits are always gonna come if you're making money. Sports books are gonna start, they're gonna go out of business. This isn't necessarily mean that Betr is gonna be the book I make a ton of money on going forward. They actually limited my bet size to a max of $100. After the big, winning month, they ended up limiting me to a max of $100. So long story short, as a sports bettor, what's really important is understanding how to find edges, how to beat the books. It's not really the specific book that matters. So I figured the best place to start with how did you make $75,000 in July is how did you make $54,000 on July 2nd. Obviously, that was my biggest day. It was a great day, and I gave out these plays for free on social media. You can go back to all of the tweets, and I think I did a couple of them in the YouTube live stream as well. And I just had an incredible day. So this was on a fantasy book called Betr. And this is a relatively new platform, at least compared to FanDuel and DraftKings. So a lot of times when sportsbooks, when they first launch, they're more inefficient. It's easier to find value on them compared to sportsbooks that have been around for like 5-10 years. Usually it's a little bit harder, to find big mistakes. But anyways, this new fantasy platform launched. It's called Betr. It's not like they went out of business, at least not yet. Maybe if we win a few more plays, they'll go out of business. But on Betr, what I noticed is you put any two players to hit a home run and you were getting a 10x payout. So if you pick Ohtani and Judge, you're getting a 10x payout. You're staking 100 to win 1,000. So that's kind of interesting because if you think about a sports book, if you bet on a bunch of no-name players to hit a home run, you're probably going to get a lot better of a payout than 10x. But the way it works on Betr is any two of these boosted picks, you get a 10x payout. And basically every single popular player to hit a home run, they were putting them as a boosted pick. Soto, Ohtani, Judge. So usually that's not a big deal. But on very specific days, if Ohtani and Judge are playing on the same day in favorable ballparks, in favorable matchups, then they're very likely to go yard. Each of them individually, sometimes, they're about 1 in 3 to go yard, plus 200. So what I noticed on this particular day is Betr, they had Ohtani and Judge both as boosted picks. So a 10x payout, you can put down $1,000 to win 10,000, but the true payout should have been closer to 7x or 8x. So basically what I did is I looked at the odds of Ohtani and Judge on a bunch of other sports books, and all of these books, had Ohtani and Judge as like a 7-to-1 payout to both go yard. So when I kind of went through the calculations, it became clear, hey, Ohtani and Judge to both go yard at a 10x payout on Betr is really good value. That is a plus EV bet. They're giving you way too good of a payout on these specific players. So it may seem obvious, like, oh, you just picked Ohtani and Judge, two popular players. I mean, kind of, but also not actually. I noticed that, hey, you're mispricing these lines, and I took advantage of it. So you may say, well, why did you bet so much on it? How are you able to have this big of a day? So, my strategy is always you want to maximize profits, right? You never know when a sports book is going to go out of business, when they're going to cut you off, when they're going to limit you. I ended up getting limited on Betr, but still, I took them for $55,000 in a day, so it's kind of part of the game. I'm fine with being limited. So long story short, what I noticed is if you put two boosted picks that were both plus EV, Ohtani and Judge, and you included a third regular pick at a 20x payout, so those came out to a 20x payout, there was still a lot of value. There was a lot of plus EV opportunities. So long story short, I put down about $4,000 total of combinations with Ohtani and Judge to both go yard. Ohtani and Judge ended up going yard. So I was able to exploit this edge on Betr. Now you may say, well, you got really lucky. And that's obviously not completely true. I've been betting on Betr, for months now. And it's not like every single time it worked out. I've been finding these errors, these discrepancies in boosted picks. They don't always pan out, but it's all about the process of finding plays with an edge. If you built Ohtani and Judge to both go yard on any other sportsbook, again, the payout was coming out to like a 7x payout. On Betr, we were getting 10x, so it was definitely plus EV, it was definitely value, and I just wanted to maximize profit, right? Like, at the end of the day, a lot of these sportsbooks cut down bet sizes, max betting limits of profitable customers, so there's kind of a fine line between being too aggressive and also making money. So I realized this Ohtani-Judge combination was super mispriced. There was a lot of money that I could make if they were to both hit, or I realized it was, there was a lot of value on it. It was very plus EV. So I wanted to maximize. It's kind of like if you're a good poker player and you have pocket aces, you don't just want to shove and get everyone else to fold immediately. You want to build up the pot, see if you can maximize, draw people in. So it's kind of the same thing in sports betting, in my opinion. It's not about winning a bet, it's about maximizing profit. So when you can, I try to maximize profit. And in this case, I had no limits on Betr. Well, I had limits, but it was $1,000 or $500 per bet, depending on the type of slip. So long story short, that's why I divided this up into numerous slips. They were limiting me to $1,000 on 2-pick entries, $500 on 3-pick entries. I realized there was a crazy edge, so I just put down $4,000 total worth of exposure. It all ended up hitting. I made a ton of money. Again, not every day works out like that. There are definitely days on Betr where I found really good value in some of these boosted picks and they don't hit. That's just kind of how it is. That's sports betting with an edge. You're not going to win every single day. It's kind of like being the world's best poker player, right? If you have an edge, you know poker strategy better than everyone else, you want to be at the table. You want to play a lot of hands. Sometimes you're going to get dealt 2-7 and you're going to lose. You're going to lose money. There are probably days at the poker table, even if you're the world's best poker player, you're going to lose money. That's fine. That's part of the game. You know you're going to win long term. So that's kind of the outlook here. A lot of people look at every losing day and they're like, you're an idiot. What did you do wrong? Nobody wins every day, right? It's all about having an edge and winning long term. And I was really taught to think like that, when I was a quant trader on Wall Street. And the reason I say that is you need to have a long-term focus. Like, it's not about getting upset all your bets lose in one day. Anyone can have a winning day. Anyone can win a big parlay. The hard part is doing it consistently and winning long-term. So in July, most of my profit came from this fantasy platform called Betr, but I still think it's critical to use as many sports books as possible as a sports bettor. I use over 50 I've used in my lifetime. Obviously, some books have gone out of business. There are new books that have started, all that sort of stuff, but it's really important. And I'll give you 3 reasons, I guess, why it's critical to use multiple sports books as a sports bettor. The first reason is limits, right? If you're a profitable customer, it happened to me on Betr after my huge 54K day, they're gonna cut down your maximum bet size. On Betr, I used to be able to play $1,000 per entry. Now it's down to 100. So they didn't completely cut me off, but still my bet size is limited. So as a sports bettor, some people say, oh, why don't you sign up for an account for your sister or your mom? I don't do any of that. These are all just, the accounts I use with the betting limits the sportsbook's providing for me. And I've been able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars year after year. The second reason you want to use multiple books is you never know where the value is going to be on a given day. All these sports books set their own lines. So for example, this new fantasy platform Betr had a ton of profitable betting opportunities. So I signed up for it and I started taking advantage. Sometimes it's other books that have value. When another book called Dabble launched in January, it was super profitable. So in January and February, that was my most profitable book. And then I got limited. But long story short, the more books you have, the more outs you have. A lot of people say things like, oh, you can't make money sports betting because if you start winning, the book will cut you off. And it's like, sure, that's true. But on Betr, I can still get down $100 on every single play I want. So it's not like I'm cut to zero. But also, there's so many sports books you can sign up for. Now in the United States with sports betting legal, there's probably at least 5 to 10 books available in your state, and that's at a minimum. And a lot of these books don't even limit, or if they do limit, they don't limit super aggressively. So for example, on FanDuel, I've been limited for, probably 3 years now. And you can see in 2023, 2022, I was able to make solid profit off it, even though I was limited. So sure, it's annoying. I wish I could bet exactly how much I wanted, but that's unfortunately just not how it works. But anyways, all books set their own lines, so you never know where the value is going to be, right? Sometimes there's a ton of value on a new book like Betr or Dabble. Sometimes FanDuel really screws up in a day and there's a ton of good, profitable plus EV bets on FanDuel. It really depends on the given day. The third reason is, or I guess, 3, 4, however you want to consider it, is promos. The easiest money you will ever make sports betting, it's what got me started with sports betting, is promotions, right? These sports books make an average of approximately $2,000 per year off of every customer who signs up. So what a lot of these books do is they run promos, right? Sports books are a commodity business. They don't do anything complicated. At the end of the day, FanDuel and BetMGM, they do the same thing, right? They just take bets. They accept wagers. Sure, there's slight differences in their layout, but they're commodity businesses. So all these books are constantly running promos, and some of them are really lucrative to try to attract new users, to try to keep users, coming back to their platform. FanDuel doesn't want people signing up for DraftKings. They don't want people using DraftKings. They want people, using FanDuel because they know they're going to make money off the average customer long term. So anyways, as an example of a super profitable promo I play every single week, this promo's been around for years. It's called Dinger Tuesday. Simple example. A lot of these books have good promos, deposit matches, stuff like that. But the way that Dinger Tuesday works is you bet $25 on a player to hit a home run, and FanDuel gives you a $5 bonus for every home run hit in the game. So for example, I guess let's go back to Ohtani. If I bet $25 on Ohtani to hit a home run, even if he doesn't go yard, if there's 4 homers in the Dodgers game, FanDuel gives me a $5 bonus, right? So the average MLB game has roughly 2.5 home runs per game. So for every game you bet, $25 on a player to go yard, you get an expected bonus, 2.5 home runs per game, $5 bonus per home run. You get a $12.50 bonus on average per game you bet. And again, it may not seem like a big deal, but it adds up. If you do this promo week after week, right, and you're taking advantage of it, you're definitely gonna make money on it. I mean, again, $25 on a player to go yard, you're getting back half of your money, $12.50 in expectancy in bonus funds just from the promo. So that's an example of a promo I play every single week religiously. So long story short, for this Dinger Tuesday promo, how do I find my picks? Well, I just go to OddsJam, I look at the plus EV tool, positive EV tool, and I just filter for where is FanDuel offering good value on players to hit a home run. I try to find some plays with value, even though basically regardless of the player you bet on, this promo is going to be super profitable because you're getting 50% cash back. You're betting $25, you're getting back $12.50 on average. Again, there's some games, some teams that hit more home runs than others. I'm simply talking about an average. So across all these sports books, all these books are running promos to try to lure people in, keep them coming back. Some of these promos are really good, like Dinger Tuesday, right? Like let's say you do it every single week, you get $50 in bonus a week or $25. Sometimes FanDuel has caps depending on the state or whatever. But again, $50, let's say a week in bonus funds from FanDuel, you get that 4 times in a month for Dinger Tuesday, that's $200. It adds up quick. So when I first graduated college, I didn't have a lot of money. I was betting a lot of promos, right? I was taking advantage of a lot of this low-hanging fruit like sportsbook sign-up bonuses, sportsbook promotions. But anyways, long story short, you should use as many books as possible. All of these books in the United States, they're super regulated. I mean, I don't know about your bookie neighbor who claims he's a bookie. Maybe that guy won't pay you out. But FanDuel, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're super regulated. It's super safe to sign up for. I'm not trying to encourage you to gamble if you don't want to gamble, but you're on this video. So the point is you shouldn't feel scared, signing up for sports books or anything like that. But yeah, so I take advantage of a lot of the profitable promos. Sometimes PrizePicks has really good promos. Other days it's FanDuel. Other days it's Underdog Fantasy, DraftKings. I try to take advantage of as many as I can. So now we can get into specific strategies that I use on a daily basis to make money off the sports books. But a couple things I want to mention. Number one is I'm not going to spend 20 minutes talking about each strategy. If you want to learn more about them, we have tons of YouTube videos on this channel breaking down a ton of the strategies I use to make money, sharp sports betting strategies like arbitrage, middles, and positive EV. But anyways, number two is I really encourage you to sign up for as many sports books as possible in your location. So you can see in 2023, I had a 9.4% ROI Granted, promotions are included, right? Some of these Dinger Tuesday on FanDuel type of bets. So maybe that overinflates my actual ROI on real bets that aren't promotional from, let's say, 6%. But long story short, you still have to be finding the best possible value on all your picks. So if you look right here, Shane under 5.5 hits allowed is minus 125 on Fliff. So you have to bet 125 to win 100 in profit. This exact same bet, right? It's the exact same bet is minus 169 on Caesars. So you have to bet 169 to win that same 100 in profit. So line shopping, comparing odds between the books and making sure you're getting the best possible value on all your picks, that's critical, right? My ROI in 2023 would have been negative if I was only using one sportsbook and placed every single bet instead of getting the best possible odds only on one book. The value goes away, right? Getting minus 125 versus minus 169, it makes a big difference long term. It's like being a day trader and buying a stock at $125 versus $169. It's really going to impact your ROI long term. So even though it may not seem like a big deal, it really adds up long term, right? Nobody has a 50% ROI sports betting long term. Nobody. Whoever says they have over 50% ROI is full of crap. So even if you have a 10% ROI like I do, which is considered extremely good, if you're not line shopping and getting the best possible odds, you're going to lose money. But anyways, let's get into some of the betting strategies, that I use. So the first one is called arbitrage betting. So arbitrage betting is basically a way, it sounds a little too good to be true, but you can see there's tons of people on Twitter, online, who make a ton of money with this strategy, is it's a way to make risk-free profits off the sports books. So again, all sports books set their own odds. So sometimes when two books get super out of sync and have such different odds, you can bet on equal and opposite outcomes, the over on one book, the under on another book, and guarantee a profit. So you're day trading the sports books, right? The market is very inefficient. All these sports books set their own lines. So arbitrage betting is a way to guarantee a risk-free return. It's super powerful. It's how I started sports betting. I made my first $40,000 sports betting with arbitrage. So you bet the over on one book, the under on another book when they're super out of sync to guarantee a return. And OddsJam has a betting tool for arbitrage. It scans the millions of odds across sports books. Again, every book sets their own lines, their own odds. All these books have 50,000 plus odds and lines up at any given time. Most bets, there's no arbitrage, right? The sports books aren't that out of sync. But you're looking for the rare few scenarios where two books are super out of sync. You can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and guarantee a profit. So typically I make a few $1,000s a month with arbitrage. It's not the core of my betting strategy, especially now that I'm limited by so many sports books, but easily you can make a few $1,000s doing this if you put in the work just day trading the books. Similarly, there's middle betting. So middle betting isn't completely risk-free, but again, all sports books set their own lines. So when two books get super out of sync, you can bet the over on one book, the under on a different book. Let's say, one book has Kirk Cousins, his passing yards line at 270. Another book has him at 300. You bet the over 270, the under 300. Now you have on a middle where if Kirk Cousins has between, 271 and 299 yards, you're going to win both bets. So this is another data-driven strategy for day trading the sports books. I love middle betting. It's fun. It's kind of like a low-risk lottery ticket. When you place a middle bet, you're always going to win at least one of your plays, right? If I bet on Kirk Cousins over 270 yards, under 300 yards on another book, I'm always going to win at least one of the bets, but there's this window of opportunity, 271 to 299 yards, where I would win both bets, my over 270 and my under 300. And the final strategy that I use a ton is called positive EV betting. So this is basically capitalizing on inefficiencies in the market. Like this play on Shane, under 5.5 hits allowed, you can see that Fliff has this line at minus 125. All the other sports books have this around minus 160. So the way you can think about this is it's like buying a stock at $125 when it's trading in the market at 160. So you treat every sports book as a data point on where should the line be set. If every other book is telling you, yo, this should be priced at minus 160, you can get it minus 125, that seems like a really good deal, right? It's kind of like finding a bet on sale. It's like buying a stock at 125 that's trading in the free market at 160. You got to remember, these sports books, they're pretty good at setting lines, right? So if every sports book, you have hundreds of data points, these multi-billion-dollar companies, these sports books with really sophisticated models, they're taking bets, moving around their odds, their payouts based on where action's coming in. Sports books aren't stupid. If all the sharps are betting the under, they'll move odds towards the under. So sometimes you can catch a book stale where, let's say, this is the perfect example. You can get minus 125 when all the other books have adjusted this line to minus 170, which is obviously a no-brainer. The same thing kind of goes more in basketball season. Now we're in baseball season, but during basketball season, there's a lot of opportunity for picking books off to injuries and lineup changes, right? Like if LeBron isn't playing in a game, then Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell, two of his teammates, if LeBron's not playing, you're going to see their points lines move higher. So if you're the first one to kind of see, hey, LeBron's not playing today, sometimes you can catch a book that's stale, right? Let's say you can get Anthony Davis over 21.5 points when the rest of the market, all the other sports books, have already adjusted their line based on LeBron being out to 23.5, 24.5. So there's a lot of betting strategies that I use. Again, there's tons of videos on this YouTube channel about arbitrage, middle betting, positive EV, and you can email me with any questions. But these are the strategies and a brief summary of them that I gave you in this video that I use on a daily basis to attack the sports books, find value, and make money. So regardless, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, please like, subscribe to the channel, email me with any questions. I'll include my email in the description. Comment any questions as well. I love this. I love beating the sports books. I love talking about making money off the sports books. So reach out anytime. Let's beat the books together. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. See you guys.